What's going on, everyone? Back again for another little video, and we are going to talk about fishing tips. Fishing tips to make you a better fisherman. And we're here at a tournament right now. We've got Neely Henry Lake right here behind us, and I'm going to talk about a couple tips that are very important. Those little things. It's those little things that make a huge difference in fishing. And I'm not only going to give you a tip, but we have Andrew Upshaw over there. We also have Bradley Hallman over there as well. See if we can't get a little nugget from him. And but before we get into the video, I want to say this video is sponsored by SimpliSafe. And SimpliSafe is a home security system monitoring that I've been using for quite a while now. SimpliSafe is awesome. SimpliSafe has been supporting our channel, so thank you very much. And guys, here's what I want you to do. Do me a huge solid and check out the link in the description down below. Be sure to check it out. And if you know someone that needs a home security or home monitoring, be sure to check out SimpliSafe because it is the real deal. Here's what I love about SimpliSafe. First of all, SimpliSafe is very easy to use and is very fair and competitive prices. About 50 cents a day, which is crazy. SimpliSafe is modern, comprehensive. Now, what does that mean? That means that they have HD cameras, motion detectors, smoke alarms, wireless keypads, all the different things that are so cool. They even have the camera that has a audio feature to it, so I can click on the app and actually talk through the app to the camera. So if you're in the office or if you're in my house, I can actually talk to you and unlock the door and let you in and lock it back. So really cool stuff, right? And here's the other part that I love about it. The app, I can check it out anytime I want. I can monitor everything that I need to monitor while I'm away from home when I'm out here on the road, which I love. The other thing is easy to install, guys. Here's the deal. I actually did it myself, so I didn't have to have some dude sitting in my house all day long running wires and installing cameras and motion detectors. So SimpliSafe is awesome. And again, do me a huge solid, guys. Check out the link below. SimpliSafe has been supporting the channel, and I support SimpliSafe. Love their products. Thank you very much, SimpliSafe. Now, let's get to the part that you guys are here for. Let's talk fishing tips. All right, so fishing tips. So, here's the deal, guys. In fishing, it's always the little things, right, that make the biggest difference. And there's two things that I'm going to talk about here that will definitely help you catch more fish. And one is a chatterbait. I love throwing a chatterbait. Chatterbaits work pretty much year-round. You can throw them in all different types of cover. But I'm going to give you a little tip that's going to make a huge difference in your fishing on how not to get hung up and snagged. Okay? So there's two kinds of chatterbaits. Number one is this one. This is my thick grass chatterbait. Okay? I have it on braid because when I'm fishing it in that really thick shore grass, okay? Really thick shore grass, you need straight braid, because if you hook a big fish, it's going to cut the grass, and the braid is strong and it gets the fish out. The trailer is a double tail trailer. This happens to be right here a Zoom speed crawl, and it has two legs. Okay, and the reason I throw that kind of trailer in the thick grass is because the two legs keep the chatterbait planed up correctly. It won't roll over when you go through the grass. If you throw a swim bait, right, a standard boot tail swim bait, like here, okay, that's a swim bait, on the back, it's going to roll into the grass and get snagged up and get caught in the grass, and it's very frustrating. And you're just not going to catch so many fish because you're spending more time snagged up and the bait's not coming through there properly. This is a 3/8 ounce chatterbait with that double tail. You could throw anything. You could throw a crack and crawl on the back of it. I throw crack and crawls a lot of times. It just depends on the fish. Right now, where we are right now, they're wanting a little faster action, and the speed crawl has quick little legs, and it's a higher frequency, right? There's spotted bass here. If I was strictly largemouth fishing, I might throw the crack and crawl on the back of it and slow it down even more. This one right here is rigged up on 15-pound fluorocarbon. Same deal, right? It's got the little crawdad on the back of it. Same exact chatterbait, 3/8 ounce. 15-pound. Now here's why. 15-pound. I'm gonna throw this in the thinner grass, right? Not thick grass, but just like scattered stuff where I can get it down in between the stalks. This with the 15-pound and this 7-foot favorite rod is a quieter chatterbait. This is more finessey, even though it's the exact same chatterbait, right? This chatterbait with braid is very noisy, right? Because the braid doesn't have any stretch. So the braid's going, it's really vibrating, and that translates that energy and that vibration through the line, and it just makes more noise, right? If you had some way of like listening to the chatterbait underwater, this one would be extremely loud, vibrate harder than this. With the 15 is a softer, it's a softer deal. This line stretches a little bit, it's a thinner line, so it's a little quieter. And there are times that a high pressured lake, like here, fluorocarbon, and getting that thing quieted up a little bit can be a big deal, right? And I did catch a few fish today on this. But when I get into the thick stuff, again, straight braid. Okay, now here is the third option. This is a 1/2 ounce with a swim bait on the back of it. Now where I'm gonna use this one is not in the grass. This is not a grass chatterbait. Now, if I was in hydrilla or something like that, you could do it. But this is for the docks, right? This is what I throw down the edge of the docks, down the shade line of the docks. And that little swim bait tail is vibrating and wiggling around. It's just really, really good. And that 17-pound line, if a big fish gets a hold of it, I can get him out of those pilings. So I'll skip this particular chatterbait all up underneath the docks real far and just roll it around under there. If I'm in thick, heavy cover, I'm gonna throw the double trailers. And if I'm open water, down docks, I'm gonna throw the single swim bait. Again, choose your line wisely. Again, this is P-line fluorocarbon or the 50-pound braid. But again, on highly pressured, when you're trying to quiet that thing up a little bit, be a little finessey, right? It was calm, like a calm day, sunny day, a day those fish aren't that aggressive. That might be the day to kind of stay in that fluorocarbon world. Cloudy day, rainy, windy, you know, the fish are aggressive, you can get away with throwing that braid. So those are the tips that I wanted to give you guys. And I'm telling you, it will make a huge difference. You'll thank me on this tip right here, because you'll be able to fish this bait through some of the thickest cover and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. So let's go over there and find Andrew and Hallman, see what they've got any good tips for you. See if, because the best time to get a nugget, the best time to get like a really good nugget is right now, when they kind of don't expect it, right? Like you just roll up and say, hey. All right, so I just gave everybody like a really, really good tip on chatterbaits and trailers and stuff, like I was telling you. Because today you were throwing the wrong trailer in the grass, and what was happening to your chatterbait? Hung up like crazy, right?
Yeah, so this was the tip. Like, I stayed hung up, and I was aggravated to the point where practice I threw a braid the whole time on chatterbait, right. Never had a bite. And so today, last night I went to fluorocarbon for the tournament, which you would think you get more bites on, but the problem was I was throwing this chatterbait right here.
Yeah.
With that trailer right there, which is a big bite trailer, and I love it. But the problem is that in that water willow, with it laying vertical, Scott says it causes it to roll.
Yeah.
And I was going to go to braid, because I was so frustrated how many times I was hung up. And he said, dude, just go to one that's flat and turn it sideways, and then it will allow it to not roll whenever you come over those limbs. Yeah. And also went down to a 3/8 chatterbait as well instead of a half. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow, but that in itself could be a couple more bites for me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So I want to do a tip. So I just did my tip, and so what do you have up here? We got to give them something really, really good nugget. Really good nugget. Like really good tip. There's got to be something in that box secret, like you don't want, like you really don't want to show, but something like, wow. Like,
so this is tiny. I don't know if you can tell how little it is.
That is little. Where'd you get that thing?
I've been throwing them for years.
What? Do they even make those anymore?
Yeah.
Those are .5s.
No, this is actually different. So I have the whole box of them. We can get the box out and compare sizes. But this is a little bit bigger than the 0.5, which was the original Lucky Craft.
Yeah.
The original Lucky Craft's the one that I started catching them on originally. So in the fall, you guys will notice that fish really get keyed in on bait size, like really picky. I'm talking like even 4 and 5 pounders not eating gizzard anymore. They're eating little bitty stuff, and it happens a lot all over the country in the fall. And this little square bill will mimic that smaller bait, where a lot of guys are going through and throwing 1.5s, 2.0s, 2.5s and not getting a bite, and then you size down to this little jewel and you can do a lot with it. This is a Lucky Strike bait. It's still a Rick Clun. It is a Lucky Strike, but this one is the #1, I believe.
And you can still get those?
You can still get these.
Really?
They actually sell them at Walmart.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Walmart.
Walmart? Wally World's got them?
Wally World's got them. So it's a sneaky little deal that it catches big ones.
That is. What size line are you putting that on?
It's usually on 12 to 10. I've got it on 12 here because it's a little bit rougher terrain, but a lot of places.
Throws good?
So that's the reason I went to this, and I'll show you the 0.5. So this is how it started. This is the original RC by Lucky Craft that was only sold at Bass Pro at the time, and this is the 0.5. This was Rick Clunn's after he left Lucky Craft and went with Lucky Strike. This is the new bait, but
oh, look how much bigger.
The reason is if you look at the width,
yeah, a lot bigger.
It allows me to cast it better. That's really the thing, to where I can keep it on a bait caster, because on windy days in the fall, it's hard to throw this thing sometimes. And this one right here really just makes that little bit of difference, and it's still that same small profile.
Right. Yeah, I like that a lot.
So it just gives me a little bit more. So that's why I prefer this one over the original. But I still carry the originals, and there's going to come a time and place when I probably go back to throwing it. But.
All right. Well, that's a really good tip, Billy. Yeah. You got a tip for us?
I come up with something.
Well, I tell you what, I am rigging up a shaky head. Co-anglers fish with shaky head a lot. Everybody fishes with shaky head. Here's a tip with a shaky head. I'll show you the shaky heads that I like. These are made by A&M Baits, okay? Most people use that, right, with the screw-on lock. See that? Can you see it? Okay, with the screw-on lock. Here's the difference. You see, that's how much space you have, right? When you screw the worm on there and then you worm thin hook it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have very much room. But when you use a shaky head like this little hook right here, I'll show you. So you just rig it up there, and it's got that little hook. I don't know if you can see that, but you just push. Well, first you want to spin it. Just push that hook in, man. Push it into the worm, right? And then when you skin hook it, it's out of the way. I pushed it in a little too far. I actually ran it up the hook a little too far. But see, it's a bigger gap there, right? And so that's not like the screw hook. It's like out here, and you've got this little gap. Here, you've got the whole bend of the hook to catch the fish.
All right, guys. So here is my tip of the day. So as you can see, two fairly identical baits, not identical in color, but in size. But I want you to listen to something.
Oh, man.
So one thing that I like to do is change up my frequency of the sound on a topwater. So if I'm on a place, especially in the fall, and I want to call fish up, and what I mean by call them up is draw them away from cover, I'm going to use a single knock topwater. For whatever reason, when you walk that single knock topwater, it draws fish away from cover better. If I'm fishing more open water, like around grass or something like that, I actually want to use a rattling topwater. So, I learned this a long time ago at Rayburn, at Sam Rayburn. That single knock, though, if you're trying to draw a fish out of a tree, off a laydown, something like that, you want that single knock. If you're fishing around grass or an open water situation, even schooling fish, you want the rattling sound. So, little tip, just to kind of give you an idea of what you need to use the next time you're out there on the water.
I didn't even know that.
What?
That was a great tip, dude.
Like that?
I'm liking that tip. I'm liking it. I think Cassadon's out on the tip thing. I'm just going to throw that out there because I think he's mad right now because he didn't really speak to us at all. So he had a tough day on the water. But that being said, how about those tips, right? How about those tips? So here's what I want you to do, guys. Be sure to subscribe to the video. Be sure to check out Simply Safe. It's simplysafe.com/Scott Martin. So simplysafe.com/Scott Martin. Be sure to check out the link in the description. And thanks for watching our video. This is a little tip here. Do me a favor, share it, right? All the people that you know that love bass fishing, share this tip, this little fishing tip, to them. So that is it. Thanks for hanging out. We're here. And very next video you're going to watch on the channel, some more Neely Henry stuff. The Coosa River series. Oh yeah, we're right in the middle of it. So guys, we will see you. Bam!